All right, welcome back to the Nedfoss channel with a look at the Nedfoss Cougar. Nedfoss is a Amazon brand. There's your information there if you'd like to freeze and take a look. This comes by way of the Lefty Pass Around group, and there is a full look at the Nedfoss Cougar. I'm calling this they took a shot at making a pyrite. And is it as good, guys? So the question is, whether you agree with me or not, there's a lot of similarities between the original steel, which I don't have. This is G10, but the original steel pyrite and this, and you'll see some other reasons why I feel like that's the case. But they call this one the Wharncliffe, which I think is really interesting because that doesn't really say Wharncliffe to me, but we'll talk about it. It's steel button lock here. We have steel frame. We do have milling inside for weight reduction, a lot of that. We do have standoffs and a lanyard hole and a titanium, I believe, clip. It might be a steel clip. We'll look here in a minute. I think it might be steel. It is very stiff. I didn't really have a problem with it going in and out of the pocket. There is a little bit sticking out, not too much. It is not reversible though. We have a hole and a fuller here and a gorgeous looking satin finished blade in 14C28. Kind of a thicker tip here, which is great. Fairly thin stock, decent jimping. Not really grabby, but definitely there. And my biggest nitpick on this is there is a ton of button stick on this knife. I have cleaned it extensively with alcohol on the lockup point and around the button as best I can. And now here's the funny thing. When you just sort of lightly open it, it's there. Let's see if I can get let's see. Yeah, see, if I just kind of lock it like that, there's no button stick. But if you actually open it, you hear that? Listen. Yeah, there's a ton of button stick on this one. It is a plunge lock, which you guys know is a spring-dependent lock as far as the tension on the blade. It doesn't really have a detent, but no shaking out. And I will tell you, it is, fairly, see, I still failed it, but fairly stiff there. You can flick using the fuller. You can thumb open there. So it works really, really well. My biggest kind of nitpick is if you're going to commit to this kind of hole, then give me access to that entire hole. I wish they had done that. Now, what we have is we have one of these handles where, you have a nice little choil to get your finger in there to keep you from sliding up if you prefer that. And you do have a flat spot. I would not go in here. It is not big enough. You can do 4-finger back here, and you don't really feel that clip, which is great. You can do 4 fingers by choking up. Now, you have jimping only in the backed up grip. When you get up here, no jimping, but it works. It definitely works, and you definitely have a full relief on your edge there. Good low tip on this one. When we are locked up, there is some side-to-side blade play on this one. There is no up and down there. Very, very nice with that. Now, how does it cut? Again, fairly thin stock, great looking grind. I didn't expect there to be any problem. 14C is fairly easy to heat treat. And you can see here, yeah, this is, if you just want a $51 knife that you can just cut with and not worry about, yep, definitely will fill that bill. Now, will the Pyrite do the same? Sure. So let's just compare. This is the original size Pyrite. And I think they call it Wharncliffe because, you kind of got this same tick down here, but you have a lot more belly on the Nedfoss than a typical Wharncliffe here. But you can see size-wise, it's a slight bit bigger than the original Pyrite. It's going to be thicker than the original Pyrite, a little bit. if you will. Obviously, I don't have the original blade one here, but definitely that gives you the idea. Now, as far as availability and specs, the Nedfoss Cougar is available in 3 versions on Amazon. They got this Wharncliffe for $51.29, so just over $50. And then they have one that they call the drop point, and really the only difference is instead of this squared off line down here, it just sort of rounds down. So it's really the same. Matter of fact, let me just see if you can see it. There you go. Just sort of the same thing, but just rounded right there. And then same thing with the clip point. It's almost exactly the same thing, but they did like the Bowie Pyrite, where you've got that, Bowie cut out there at the tip. Sorry, it's hard to fit the laptop in here, for sure. Now those two are $59.95. The Wharncliffe you see here before you is $51.29. And as far as specs, it is a 3-inch blade length. Hold on, sorry. With a 4.18 ounce weight. And is that all the specs they give us? That is interesting. Very cool. All right, we'll measure it here to give you the overall length. I'm going to say it's going to be just over 7 inches. Well, almost 8 actually. 7 3/4. Your handle length overall is 4 1/4, and between point to point here is about a little over 3 1/2. Okay, so not bad at all in that regard. Now, if we do our normal size comparisons, you've got the Ontario Rat 1 is going to be quite bigger, and the Ontario Rat 2 is going to be a little smaller. Okay. Man, I need to clean my poor Rat 1. I have cut so much with it lately and not cleaned it up. But there you go. So what do you guys think of the Nedfoss Cougar? Am I being fair comparing it to the Pyrite? Is that an unfair comparison? It just seems very similar. Now, it is thicker blade stock and it is longer. It is also thicker. So I guess you could say it's a thicker version of the original steel Pyrite, is the best way I would go about saying it. But again, my 2 biggest complaints are, again, I don't mind the way they did this. It feels good in the hand. You've got a good grip here, good ergonomics. You do feel the clip a little bit, but not bad. The jimping works. My only thing is, again, just give me that entire hole. Just take this a little bit further out. And I know, see, that you can't really do that because then now it's into that second finger. So I get why they did it. And the second thing is it does have a ton of lock stick. And yeah, phew. Okay. But really cool. I'm glad I got to check it out. Let me know what you guys think down below of the Nedfoss Cougar. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and thank you for watching the Knives Fast channel.